Hey everyone, welcome to another Cthulhu Wars video. Today I am going to do the first of 3 videos covering the Ramsey Campbell Horrors Box 2. This expansion came from the Onslaught 2 Kickstarter. That's where I started, so I have it. You may not be able to easily get it. I don't know. After these next 3 Cthulhu War videos, anyways, I will be hopefully starting my coverage of Onslaught 3? Onslaught 4? Onslaught 3. Onslaught 3, I think. Anyway, all the, ancients, all the new stuff. Okay, so today's video is all going to be about Y'Golonac. Yeah, I'm going to say that that's the pronunciation. It works for me. So Y'Golonac is the god of depravity. God? Ancient one of depravity? I don't know. Let's call him a god. His cultists probably call him a god, right? So Y'Golonac himself is trapped behind a bricked wall somewhere, like underground, whatever. And his creatures crawl over whatever he looks like without knowing it's him, because he's just asleep. But if you say his name, or possibly just say his name, maybe it's just say his name, or maybe if you say his name while thinking naughty thoughts, then you could be visited by Y'Golonac. And Y'Golonac will either eat you because he's endlessly hungry, like all good gods, or he will offer to make you a high priest. And as a high priest of Y'Golonac, you're doing all kinds of depraved stuff. And I think it's really, this is really meant to be totally just as vile as you can possibly imagine. So if he possesses a host, then his head deflates, as you can see in the figure, and so his head just deflates and flops down, and then you end up with, at least the way they sculpted him, this kind of bloated, obese man with hands in his palms. I think his groin is also hands in his palms, mouths in his palms. I think also his groin is supposed to be mouths too, but they wanted to be able to sell these gods of destruction without getting too much flack, probably. So there you go. Pretty cool sculpture. You can kind of see his deflated head. It's definitely like, I don't know. Oh, it reminds me of a crab, right? The crabs when they're like, yeah, I'm big and tough. Get back. Mating ritual stuff, which is very appropriate. Okay. So what is he? Well, you pay 2 and you have to have a controlled gate where your Great Old One is. Okay. So you pay 2, boom, there you go. You now have Y'Golonac. He has combat die 1 and he is a independent Great Old One. An independent Great Old One, just as a quick reminder, is effectively a Great Old One for most intents and purposes. Keep in mind, Great Old Ones can capture cultists if the only thing protecting the cultist is a monster. So, Y'Golonac can capture this cultist, right? But if the Great Old One is there, then he can't. Okay, so that's about it. The aspect that independent Great Old Ones or Aigus don't do is they don't give you an elder sign during the doom phase when you do a ritual of destruction. So otherwise, he's an Aigu. He's a Great Old One. Okay, so you summon him. He's 1 combat die. Woo! You only have control of him until he's defeated. So you take his card, and if he gets defeated permanently, then he just goes back and anybody can then summon him again. But his special feature is called orifices. If Y'Golonac is killed in battle, select a surviving enemy terror, monster, or cultist, replace it with Y'Golonac, then give Y'Golonac's loyalty card to that player. If no enemies survived, Y'Golonac dies normally, placing this loyalty card in the general pool. This ability is not optional. So, the way that that effectively works is say that they come calling and they roll a bunch of combat dice, and let's say that they get 2 kills. And Cthulhu, he's like, okay, well, I want to retain control of this gate. So I let Cthulhu and Y'Golonac die. Okay? In that scenario, that's probably wise. I'm not wise. Let me do it a little bit more real. We kill the cultist. We can recruit another cultist. Great. So they die, boom, and now Y'Golonac replaces the child, Dark Young. All right. So why would you do this? Why would you summon this great old one and effectively give him to somebody else? Primarily for this reason. If you have received Y'Golonac from using orifices, which I just did, then he gets his spellbook, which he doesn't want. The spellbook is called the Revelations. During the Doom phase, every player except you gets 1 Elder Sign. This is not optional. So, if in the scenario Black Goat cannot get Y'Golonac killed, then he's going to be giving me Elder Signs every round. Now, the reason why I decided to do it specifically this way is because if Black Goat has any power left, at this point, he may want to try to kill Cthulhu. But if, and he may succeed, he may fail, right? That's, who knows? No control over that. But this way, there's a chance for Shub-Niggurath to die, right? If I roll 2 kills, he's dead. The other way is that, okay, Y'Golonac still went over there, and now they can capture the cultist, and I don't want to give them that power. That's effectively, I mean, they spend 1 power to capture a cultist for 1, which gives them 1 power, so it's a net 0. I'd rather them pay 1 power to fight me, because if I have to recruit Cthulhu again, then I'm going to get a Elder Sign back for summoning him, and he's cheap, because that's their power, effectively, is that Cthulhu's cheap to resummon. Okay, so that's Y'Golonac. He's a defensive Aigu. You summon him when you it's kind of like a honey trap. You want to say, hey, you don't want to fight me. If you fight me, you may end up allowing me to win because you may be giving me Elder Signs. That's his primary purpose. There's not much else to him. Okay, so who wants Y'Golonac? Black Goat. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Black Goat typically doesn't really want him. Black Goat typically is a little bit more aggressive, and it just, I don't know. I mean, Y'Golonac is cheap. He is cheap enough, and other people are likely to use him against you. So of course, you have the power for it, and Black Goat typically has a lot of power. Then summon Y'Golonac, and because you had to spread out anyways in order to get your spell books, so it can work, but I wouldn't do it if I could get somebody else instead, usually. All right, Crawling Chaos. So Crawling Chaos, I typically play as sort of an assassin faction, and I use my travel ability a lot. I don't often get attacked a tremendous amount as Crawling Chaos, and I have Nyarlathotep flying 2 spaces at a time. Again, if you have the power to summon him, great, but you probably will not, because everything's so expensive for you as crawling chaos, and unless you get lucky, if you get lucky with Nyarlathotep's deal, say that you roll 5 and they let you have the power, or 6 or whatever, then maybe. I mean, crawling chaos just doesn't have reliable power. So typically, I always roll low, so I assume no, I'm always broke. All right, Great Cthulhu. I like it. I like it a lot because you're more likely to bait people into fighting you anyways. You kind of are okay. You don't want to do it on purpose, guys. Don't get Cthulhu killed all the time on purpose just for an Elder Sign. There's probably better ways to get Elder Signs. But and I see a lot of Cthulhu people lose because of that. Still, it is a good punishment that if you try to kill Cthulhu or try to take my stuff while Cthulhu's submerged or whatever, you might have to deal with Y'Golonac. And plus, having another independent Great Old One to go around capturing cultists, it's not bad. Or to protect your cultists. Opener of the Way. So I would generally say he's kind of the same as everybody else. You don't really want him. But if you can't afford him, you should. But again, just like Crawling Chaos, I'm always poor as Opener of the Way. I struggle with power. So no, typically not. Sleeper, I also suffer for power. Cho-Cho, absolutely yes. Cho-Cho love Y'Golonac. It matches their theme. They typically don't spread out, and I usually have quite a bit of power as Cho-Cho. So I think it works. I think it's a great, and again, you want to discourage people from fighting you anyways. So 100% Cho-Cho, the theme, everything just lines up, and I think that Y'Golonac finally is great for Cho-Cho. Windwalker, I usually have power as Windwalker, especially kind of in the middle of the game. I often travel, but Y'Golonac is a good defensive unit, so yeah, by all means, do it. Yellow Sign. So I always feel like with Yellow Sign, I don't want to fight. I want people to leave me alone and let me do my desecration thing. Also, I typically use Hastur as a punishment, as say, hey, if you guys get out of line, Hastur is going to come and kick some Great Old One ass. That's Hastur. So with that in mind, I think Y'Golonac, perfect fit. Any defensive faction, any faction you want to play defensively, and you're saying, hey, leave me alone, let me build up. You can win if you can build up faster than me, otherwise I win. And those kind of players, right, they're just kind of like turtling, and Yellow Sign, you're wandering around, but still I feel like you're turtling because you don't want to fight. With that, Y'Golonac is great for any of them. Otherwise, for the most part, Y'Golonac's not exciting. So you're supposed to play with typically, I would say 2 to 4 additional rules. And I think there's a lot more interesting choices. However, if you have a lot of people who enjoy the turtling factions, and maybe there's too much combat in your games, and those guys aren't having fun, they should vote for a defensive unit like Y'Golonac. That's it. This is a very simple character, so there's not a lot of advanced strategies in my usage or experience. But if you have some sort of secret technique to make Y'Golonac crazy, amazing, awesome that I didn't even consider, by all means, I'd love to see you post down below what you think about Y'Golonac. All right, I do want to remind you that there is only a very little bit of time left for my free copy of Cthulhu Wars contest. So there's going to be a link in the description below. You can also just go to dorksidecookies.net. That's our parent site. And there's a link right at the top. Win a copy of Cthulhu Wars. It's super easy to enter. You just subscribe to this channel and you subscribe maybe to a couple other channels, and you click like and retweets and do that kind of stuff. And I did want to thank Petersen Games. So they sent 2 new still sealed copies of Azathoth. I've said it before, this is my favorite expansion for Cthulhu Wars. I feel like it's mandatory. The neutral spellbooks are what allow this game to become different for the existing factions. Like, different in the sense that now we don't know what spellbooks people will choose, right? When you only have 6 spellbooks, you kind of know what everybody will choose. Azathoth adds a whole new spellbooks that anybody can use. They're not great for everybody. Go watch my video. But it's just so good. And so I really appreciate Sandy Petersen and Petersen Games sending out these 2 copies. I'm going to mail them to you. They'll probably arrive later because Cthulhu Wars I'm sending from Amazon. These I'm going to send myself, and really appreciate it. Please enter the contest. Give it a go. I think there's only 2 entries in the How Would I Summon Cthulhu video entry portion of it. So, like I even said in the original video, there is great chances of you winning. That's like if you are the next person to make a video, that's like a 1 in 3 chance of winning a copy of Cthulhu Wars. So I would do it personally. All right. With that, there's gonna be a lot more in the New Year's. I'm always trying to up my game. I always want constructive criticism. I even try to handle non-constructive criticism. By all means, let's keep making the channel better. Check out my live streams over if you want to see me eating, 2 million Scoville hot sauce, ridiculous stuff. That's on Wednesday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. PST. If you want to be a guest star and you're in Vegas, you're planning on being in Vegas on Wednesday, we do it every single Wednesday. So otherwise, yeah, bye guys. Have a happy holiday.
She found a way into my heart. Oh, she don't make up, no, she make art. And I need a way to treat it, 'cause I keep getting